All right.
Hey guys, hello. We'll just be 1 minute. We're just having some technical issues here with Insta, but we'll be live in just a moment.
Len's our crash test dummy.
I'm a seat warmer.
You're like the stunt man filling in for Mark.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for the
Keeping the seat warm.
The arm didn't have to hold up for 15 minutes.
Oh, it was all a bit.
Glenn keeps the seat
For a
warm
moment.
for Mark.
Hey guys, hope everyone's well. We've got an action-packed Novak news for you here tonight. Yeah, move in, Mr. Novak. Move in closer, move in closer. These boys have told me that we just like wing it. So here we are. And we're going to answer any questions that you might have. These guys wanted to talk about land tax and I suggested that was boring. So, no, not boring.
No,
so we might touch on that. So if you see me go really quiet, you know why.
Yep.
It's because it's not really my area of expertise. All right, over to you, Mr. Novak.
Land tax.
See ya, I'm out of here.
Land tax. Land tax. Land tax. Land tax.
What is it? What does it mean? What does it do?
What is
How does
this
it
T
affect
word?
you?
Okay, everyone got their
Tax.
if everyone got their pen and paper out, this is not financial advice, but we're just going to tell you a little bit about what we see out there in the marketplace. Over to you, Lise.
So, that's so sad. Well, now let's talk about marketing, maybe some soft furnishes.
Okay, I'll talk about land tax.
So mean, this like.
Okay, guys. Office of State Revenue offers for free that you can jump on. We'll put the link in shortly to show you. You can jump on to their website. You can check the land tax assessment for a property you own or a property you want to buy, and it's really easy to do. I'll give you an example of one. You want to whack it up in the comments there, Virg, while you're there?
Yeah, I was looking at the
Michael will whack it up on Facebook so you've got it. Now, something I want you guys to be really conscious about when buying an investment property. The old typical Greeks and Italians used to like freestanding. They used to like freestanding because they could put a flat on it, they could do improvements to it, they could do all this weird and wonderful stuff. But where people are coming undone a little bit at the moment is land tax threshold for 2019-2020 is 629K. Okay, I'm going to assume it's an advanced landlord because it makes this scenario look better, or I should say worse. It exacerbates. I just made it, yeah. That's from you. That's from you. Okay, so Mr. Old Italian landlord, he would typically buy a house in Narrowena, and the house in Narrowena he would buy in today's market $1.3 million.
Yeah.
The house he'd buy in Narrowena, he's an advanced landlord, so he has other factories and houses.
I do have a house in Narrowena for 1.3 million, just in case anyone happens to
This
be
is
looking.
educational. Put the salesman hat off.
All right.
Here to educate the people.
Land tax. So the house in Narrowena. Hey Adam, how are you, buddy? Ange, how are you? The house in Narrowena is the land tax assessment is sitting at a dollar value. Say that's $1 million. Now, because Mr. Landlord's over the 629 threshold because he has other properties as well. What actually happens is on $1 million he has to pay 1.4%. That's 14 grand. 14 grand is about $300 a week. So this day and age, if you're a landlord, if you're buying a little house in Narrowena to rent out, $300 a week of your income is going to be land tax alone. Before you even maintain the property, before you even got interest in anything like that. That's what happens. So I urge you landlords buying property out there, or even if it's your first property, you may be over the threshold if it's a house. Have a good look at land tax, because land tax, when you got your 629 threshold, it's very easy to be catapulted over that. It's very easy to have to pay $300 a week towards the government. Now that $300 a week, okay, it's a lot of money, but multiply that out, 15 grand for 10 years, 150K, and it's going to go up even more.
Yeah.
200K is going to be going towards the government, out of your pocket, straight into theirs. So what do? You buy a unit instead of a house. Guess how many units, we did the maths today in our sales meeting. Guess how many units you can buy as opposed to a house in Narrowena for the same land tax?
3 or 4, isn't it? 10
Yeah.
10 times.
So if a unit you're looking to buy has got a land tax assessment of only 150K as opposed to a house which is $1 million,
Yeah.
there's almost like 8 units you can buy and still be at the same land tax as one house.
Yeah.
And
But then I had the argument. Then what about you still got strata, right?
Yeah.
And so then you came back and said,
Do you remember?
yeah.
What'd you say? You
So,
should tell the crowd what you want me to do.
then I came back and said, okay, so yes, you've got land tax on a house, but then you've got strata on an apartment. And so these guys were saying, yeah, that's correct, but there's no money in a kitty when you've got a house for incidental things. So
let's do the kitty.
okay. So we had things like insurance.
What, building insurance?
We had building insurance. We had outside.
We said say a building was it $900 a year to insure a building, like an old house.
Yep. Electricity outside of the property.
water.
Yep.
How much was that?
I think we put a figure of about $400 or $500 on it
Yeah.
per year. Yeah. Water was another
Yeah.
one. So let's say I don't know.
Because that's right. Units.
It's
Units. Often your usage goes into your body corporate levy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how many showers you have in your unit, the whole body corporate pays for it.
Yeah, that's
in,
right.
In most of the body corporates, except for the brand new ones that are coming out now, they have
Yeah.
their own meters. A lot of the ones centralised meter for hot water and things
Remember
like
that
that.
apartment had a pool and everyone had to share the water?
Everyone has share the water. Okay, so how much would be? So that means that on a unit you're paying for services, but you're not paying for usage. How much usage would a couple use?
say, I don't know, $600 a year. I don't know. Just let's use that as an average.
How come you don't know? And what else you got?
3 girls living in the house is lots of water, man.
What else we got? So what we're trying to break
No
down.
maintenance outside. There's no
What we're
common
breaking
cleaner.
down is
Right.
people that say, just to rehash where we're coming from, people going, I want to buy a house because I don't want to be strata. But what's actually included in the strata? That's what Lisa's breaking down for you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And not only that, but like if you've got a house, I mean, we just had issues that went on in our backyard with plumbing. I mean, no one's going to come to the party and pay for that, right? We've just got to find that money and we've got to pay for those plumbing issues. So, the great thing is with strata, it's really putting money away for a rainy day for when these incidentals do come up. And when they do come up, they're often really, really expensive.
And in a tightening market where there's going to be less capital growth out there, and that's what's carried a lot of the market for the last 5 years, 10, 20 years, is that capital growth. So where you've seen money leak out, either through where you could have minimised it with land tax, even a lot of people buying new market and they're not doing depreciation on a brand new property. There is just there. I reckon it's like what are the things in the kitchen? Sieves.
I love the way you look at me. Do I look like I'm sitting in a kitchen? Yes, a sieve.
You do a sieve.
Yeah.
I reckon there's a lot of money that owners, landlords, owners, investors can tighten up.
Yeah.
And I think that switch from freestanding to a strata because of land tax, which is $15,000 a year, plus you get the benefit of depreciation and tax. It's almost you probably could have a 20 to 30 grand upswing in a market where we're predicting it's going to probably lower a little bit more and then stable for maybe 1 to 3 years. So in that period of 4 years when no one's getting capital growth or very little, you're still making 5 to 10% on your money, and then I still believe in that long-term freestanding. Or in another 5 years, 10 years, you probably got the growth by another couple.
So back to land tax. You're less if you're in a unit. Back to strata levies. Did we finish the calculations?
Yeah, it was really good.
So there was building, there was electrical, there was water, electric's outside there. Maintenance, we put say $1,000 a year to maintain stuff on a house.
Especially if you do try and compensate it with a granny flat, and then you've got common areas, it's very hard to charge or get to push that cost onto the tenant as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just got to absorb it. So you may win $150, $300 out the back, but now you're paying your maintenance.
So if I'm spending on a house, and it's a lot more than this, it's $1,000 for outside maintaining the house. It's like stuff. It's building insurance, $900. It's electricity, which is you don't have to pay on a unit.
Yep.
You're paying on a house, and it's water of $600.
And these are just things that we can think of. I'm sure there's
Like,
another 10 that
okay,
we're not thinking of.
That's $3,000. $3,000 divided by 4, and you're sitting at. That's huge. That's what 800.
Yep, and most stratas
about-
are 700 to 1,000 anyway. So
Yeah.
So
You're
the message from us to you is don't poo-poo strata.
be open-minded, do your own investigation.
Do your
because
numbers.
may be we were.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's your segment, Lisa. Done.
That's it, done.
That's
God,
Lisa's.
that was the- that
That's
was the
Lisa's
tax thing.
segment that she was worried about on.
But she wanted us prepared.
But do you know what? I know we often cover a lot about the sort of sales aspect on this Monday Night News. But I've just come out of signing up a management, and the guy was asking about management fees, and landlords are always so fixated on management fees. It's a really, really big thing. And we never pride ourselves on being the cheapest. We pride ourselves on being the best. And I think it's really important to point out, there's so many landlords out there, I think it's really important to point out that there is a significant difference between property management services and property management services. And there's a reason why
I like
agents...
your bag of cash.
Yeah, that's a good scenario. But there's a reason out there why so many agencies can afford to charge a much cheaper management fee. And the best way I equated it to these guys was, you know, their property's worth $1 million. And I said, look, you know, these guys don't live here, they live out in Dural. And I said, you know, guys, you're not even local, and you're going to leave effectively your $1 million bag of cash, because that's what it
love
is,
that example.
with someone who you don't even know. So a lot of people in property management have been in the industry for sort of 6 months, 12 months, and then there's a lot of movement within the industry as well. I think we worked out average retention of property managers in the industry was sitting at about 6 to 12 months. Whereas with our agency, we've got property managers that have been here for, so we've only got senior property managers. Brooke's been here with us for 5 years. Cleo's been here with us for 9 years. And then we've got Branca, who's been with us for 12 years, who was actually just awarded Property Manager of the Year by realestate.com.au Australia.
And taking that bag of cash
It's
analogy
huge.
a little bit further, would you, if you had a bag of cash of $1 million, would you hire the cheapest security guard to mind it?
Right, yeah. That's a good point. No, exactly. So, you know, there's but there's so much more that goes into it. Obviously, we're not going to go into it all now. But, you know, they were saying, oh, but there's other agencies out there that are offering, you know, a slightly cheaper management fee. And when we worked it out, it actually worked out to be, it was $5 a week. I was like, guys, we're arguing over $5 a week. And what are you laughing at?
Nothing.
Nothing. Keep going. You're doing well.
I think Lisa's doing a great job
Oh,
tonight.
leave aside, boys. I'm just trying to get off the tax talk, actually.
Yeah, on to property management
No,
in
but
front
it
of
is.
two agents.
But it's really like
Very interesting.
No, but
What
it
if
is
you
really
laid
important.
what if you
though.
laid everything back to bags?
Like handbags.
Like handbags, bags, bag of cash, bag.
I don't see a
shoes.
problem with that. I see Paige is watching. Do you see a problem with that? No.
What do you got to say, Ange? It costs less to pay strata in most buildings compared to paying and looking after the maintenance for a house.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wow, that's a
Ange
great
just said
statement.
one sentence.
And it took us 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What else have we got to cover, guys? I think we're going to cover a little bit about what's going on out there. We've seen some big group numbers coming through. A lot of properties, heaps and heaps of buyer inquiry coming
Huge,
through.
strong.
Huge amounts of buyer inquiry. It's unbelievable. They've sort of all
Everything
come out of the woodwork.
Yep.
A lot of buyer confidence around.
What about rentals?
Great question, Lisa. What do you reckon about rentals?
What's going on?
What's happening with the rental
Property
market?
management.
Well, I saw a report come through this week with the status in the rental market, which sort of affirmed.
Market share.
Well, there's your market share one.
Well, what's clearance rates? The clearance rates in Northern Beaches was 73% or something.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
strong,
huge.
Here it is.
But
That's huge. I think
78% were the clearance rates on the Northern
but
Beaches.
it's $10 to $20
massive.
cheaper a week to rent a property
Yeah.
in the Northern Beaches than it was this time last year. So it's good. It's great for renters. You know what's really cool? That not many people we all sort of whinge about property prices a little bit lately. But what I think we're really going to be conscious of is affordability. We've actually introduced affordability back into the marketplace.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
Not just for the
market.
rentals and for the sales.
Yeah. So houses are more affordable to buy, falling out of the view a little bit. And
Can't have that.
and places are cheaper to rent than what they were a year ago. So
Yeah.
there's really good affordability back in the market. And I know everyone's sort of running for cover and shooting themselves a little bit in some circumstances, but I can honestly say I can't see much change around the marketplace. People are still employed. People are still buying.
Population
Yeah.
is growing faster than it ever
Population's
had.
growing. People are still taking their holiday breaks. People are still doing what they've always done. So I get that it's tightened up, and the property market's different than what it was a couple of years ago. But across the economy, I think people are still living really, really well.
Yeah.
On our Facebook
Yeah.
account, there's a video from Harry Triggerboff, and he was talking about what a wonderful country we live in and how well wealth is spread through our country. We've got to be proud of that.
100%. And also, we were away overseas not long ago, and just the amount of homeless people, you don't see that here. Even our homeless are well taken care of.
Yeah. Remember that our current affair? They're only about 60 grand a year. Homeless.
I'll
Yeah, very well.
Very well looked after, but and that's important. But just getting back to rentals and the days on market for rentals, I know that we're sitting at about 7 to 14 days, which is really good. It is really, really good.
What advice would you have to a landlord that's been on the market for 45 days? Obviously with another agent, but what would you advise?
Rental
Rental.
property,
Yeah.
or
A rental, yeah. So
rental
you're a
property.
landlord.
So I'll
you
tell
haven't been educated on the market for say the last 12 to 18 months. You think you're used to just getting $20 increases each time
Yeah.
it comes up. Is that still the case? Is it
So
not? What should they
okay,
do?
so there's a couple of things that we are doing actually. Marketing's everything, because obviously that's
And for
everyone's
your own.
first point of
You've done.
contact. What we did for our
that's
own
a good
property.
example.
Yeah.
So it
Great
was
question.
vacant for I think about 2 weeks.
Real
and
life example.
What's the saying? When you
It's
do
in Wayne.
Wayne Creek?
It's in Wayne Street. I can't remember the address.
Wayne Street Freshwater.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
we've got a 1-bedroom investment unit there. Lisa's purchased a property there, and she, as an avid investor she is. And Lisa, tell us about that investment and what a great thing you
What
did there.
advice you would give?
Okay,
a
so
property manager as
it
well?
was sitting on the market for a little while, and we obviously wanted it rented. We had it on at a really, really cheap rent, because the idea is that don't get a tenant in, because every week that goes by is X amount of
Some
$100.
money's better than no money.
Right, and try and be a hero on the next rental and make it up. The rental market's quite forgiving, but we ended up pulling out the kitchen, which was an old, really disgusting kitchen, and replacing the kitchen. We've got a guy that actually does really cheap, quick kitchens, and they look fantastic.
And Brooke's a weapon.
Yeah, Brooke, our property manager, orchestrated the whole thing. She project managed the whole thing. And we ended up getting a beautiful kitchen in there. I think it cost us about $7,000. We got some digital photos,
Ten.
beg your pardon, digital 10 grand. 10 grand.
10 G's.
And
$10,700. Just in case.
Yeah.
Lisa just round stuff.
Yeah, what'd you spend at the shops? Oh, like a,
my version sounds better. I'm just
Yeah.
used to that when
Oh, I
I
think it's
says, how
seven.
much were those shoes? I go, these were...
they're second hand. They're like a couple
yeah,
hundred.
These old
Yeah,
things.
10, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we ended up putting digital furniture into the photography. New kitchen, property was rented
That's a
within
big one
24
we've rolled
hours,
out.
and we got an extra
Virtual
$50 a
furniture.
week rent than what we were asking.
Wow.
So not everyone has the capabilities of being able to put in new kitchens, but
70.
what that did to the value of the apartment as
$70
well.
a week.
70.
$70 a
$70.
week.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so
keep in
that was
mind,
good.
that's-
Exhausting.
It was good. It was a really good example. And
That
just,
10 grand's tax.
hey
tax
Luke, how are you, Luke?
Yeah.
Hey, Alistair Flower, how are you, champ?
Alistair wants to know about change of
I'm
government.
going to
as
answer
well.
Alistair's question in a sec. But just going back to the investor, the skinning the cat a different way, the great thing about that is we've got to think different. So I think in a way the last couple of years we've been chewing the fat.
Yep.
Now suddenly
Yeah.
you're looking at your investment property and looking at it through different glasses, because there's almost like a desperation there, and in those times it's the mother of invention. You know, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
So there was a necessity for us to get it rented. There was a necessity for us to review it and spend time on it because it wasn't getting rented. So with a great property manager, which was Brooke, it was her suggestion. We spent 10 grand. We got $70 a week.
Extra.
Now $70. Let's do the maths, guys.
Yep. I'll do it.
$70 a week. $70 a week is $3,500, $3,500. We spent 10 grand, 10,700. 3,500 over 10 grand. Get this. We not only got our property rented straight away for more money, we got a 35% return on our money straight away.
Yeah.
Because we put the new kitchen in. Now, we made 35. In what world?
But also, what did that do to the value of our apartment?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you now
What
that
the-
if we had that, say we were going to sell it and we put that on the market a few weeks ago before we put in the kitchen, there's no way that would have sold that quickly
Yeah.
for the amount that we wanted. Now, new kitchen in, hands down, if that was to come onto the market,
That's
we'd
true.
have it sold within a week.
35%.
It's
That's
so
solid.
beautiful and
How's that?
presentable now.
How's that?
Yeah.
So just
So it's appreciated in value
Just
as well.
hashing off that unit, one better, freshwater, couldn't rent it.
In the
Our
first
year.
Leases unit,
In the
first
first
year.
year.
Leases unit, couldn't rent it. 4 weeks on
Ah.
the market, didn't know what to do. Put a kitchen in, 10 grand, invested the 10 grand. We ended up getting it rented for
$70.
$70 a week
more.
more. That is in a year is 3,500. That in the first 3 years is a 35%
Yeah.
return on your money, and you paid that money back.
And then the
And
tax
we got it
works out
rented.
better.
And we got it rented the first week.
Now,
So you get
And it's tax deductible.
and a great
tax.
tenant,
And the
and a great
asset.
tenant
And the
as
tenant's
well.
happy and
Quality
they'll
of
stay there
tenant.
longer.
And the unit's got to be worth 30, 40 grand more now because
100%.
it looks unbelievable.
But not everyone has the capabilities of being able to do that. So a good trick that we're doing now is we're actually putting digital. We found a gun guy that will put digital furniture into rental properties. I know sales, we tend to give all those, that marketing a lot of love, and the rental market's always been the poor cousin, bless you. But we're now doing digital furniture on rental properties, and it is working a treat.
Yeah.
Bless you.
It's all this rentals talk.
Yeah.
It's allergic.
So we're gonna Michael
It's allergic to the rental.
Commercial shops. We're the grease traps.
he's allergic. If you talk too much rentals, he gets
He
sick.
starts sneezing. So we'll talk about the government thing.
Thank you.
Change of
Okay.
government, is it going to make a difference?
Oh,
Great
yeah, that's a
question.
good one. What's your opinion, guys?
No.
Are you gonna start?
Do you know what? Can I tell you? A change always makes people uneasy.
I think-
That is the bottom line. Everyone always speculates change of government. People always get nervous.
It's just another excuse. People are still going to buy, people are going to sell. It's just another excuse to drag on a decision who people are uncertain of making it.
Yeah.
The reality is, the property economy, we're heavily, it's such a big part of, I think, everything. So it's not going to get screwed or crippled, because then you're fucked. So, and our government's very conscious of that and protective of
Yeah.
the property. So population's growing, jobs are out
I
there.
just saw that LinkedIn post about the debt levels in our government, in our society.
Yep.
Our debt levels have actually come down. When we were in
Yeah.
the GFC, we hit $40 billion, trillion,
Yeah.
trillion, billion, 40 billion.
I think no,
trillion.
America was 13.
And it had nothing to do with
billion.
Russia.
Billion. Anyway, and we've gone down to
Or lack
something
of.
like 10, so we've eroded.
At least the stimulator was shopping.
We got rid of 70% of that.
You
Yeah,
can
and New South Wales is like out of
no.
debt because of property. So we're so geared by property. As you said in previous, every dollar spent is like $4. Every dollar spent in property has that.
Has a knock-on effect. I think it's something.
But I
Yeah,
like what you
multiplier.
said, Burge, about, sometimes it just gives people another excuse to
It
like
does.
not come on the market.
There's Easter,
There's going to
there's
be an
holidays,
election.
Christmas.
The reality of it is, if you are looking at coming to market, just come to market. The seasons don't matter. Election doesn't matter.
Yep.
Government doesn't matter. Climate doesn't. Nothing matters.
Buy and sell within the same market,
Right, and
or
it's-
if you're selling to go overseas, then you really don't care anyway, do you? So
Yeah.
just
And another thing as well, when this is really what people forget.
Yep.
When there's a change of government, they don't wipe out 50,000 people that work for the government and employ a different sector of 50,000 people to work for it. They're just chopping off the heads.
yeah.
So you may change the head, but the jockey, but the horse, a lot of the horse is the same. And I get a jockey has a big influence, but most of the horse, like all this infrastructure, all this infrastructure that we've got in place, all these works that have been in the pipeline for 5, 10, 15 years. They don't just put an axe and kill everything. So
and start and rewrite the book. It's not like
one
again.
Right.
You know, there's so much liberal momentum in the marketplace. To put some Labor momentum into that, it's like moving a locomotive train. It doesn't just happen like that. So I know the government may change, may not change, but really, are things going to really turn around that hard, that fast, that crazy?
We'll put it this way: like we've changed the heads 4 times in one government, and we're still going all right. So
I know.
It's not change. We're used to it. So
and look, it's not a political conversation tonight, but how does that affect property? Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. That you couple that such arborous, that's so hard to make those changes. Couple that with property, which is so hard to get in of and out of. They're two very heavy-hitting, long, standing, deep-rooted things that nothing really is going to change that much, I reckon.
And the government you're buying in now, it's not going to matter in 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Well, that's right. It's a long-term thing.
Especially with some properties, they only come up once in a cycle. So there's no need to worry about it too much. If it fits, if it works, make it work.
That's it.
Did anyone want to talk about the mole on my head?
Yeah, big C.
It's massive.
It was me. All right, guys. I think that's it from us. We've had a bit of everything tonight, haven't we? So if there's anything that you guys would like to know, we're here every Monday night, 8 p.m. We don't always have to talk about property. We can talk about
shoes,
fashion
bags,
or
clothes,
scatter cushions or makeup or
Pelicans.
anything at all. Not boring topics like tax and politics. So, but no, seriously, guys, we're here every Monday night. Bicycle riding. We're here every Monday night.
Hey guys, I'm going to be going a bicycle ride, raising funds for kids in orphanages
in Thailand.
In Thailand, and it's a 500-kilometre ride with realestate.com, Steve Carroll, and all the management team. So keep an eye out on that because we're going to be trying to raise some funds for those kids in orphanages. Yeah. And I'm going to be getting my ass whipped.
Yeah. You're at a festival this week.
Massively. And Mark's going to be wearing Mark is going to be wearing lycra.
The Serbian Festival this weekend, Darling Harbour, Saturday and Sunday. Have your delicacies, have your cevapcici, your skinless sausages.
Nutella pancake.
Your Nutella pancake.
What's your mum make today?
Mum made kombucha today. My mum, they will not be there.
I'll be here.
I missed out on that.
I don't want to show you because you get angry at me feeding. But have a great week, guys. See you next week.
See you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.